I'm David Carnoy, Executive Editor for CNET.com, and I'm here to tell you about the Sony PlayStation 3. This is Sony's next-generation game console, and it's designed to compete with the Microsoft Xbox 360. One of the key differences is that Sony has decided to build the system around a next-generation DVD format, Blu-ray. That allows you to play Blu-ray movies along with DVDs, as well as CDs and SACDs. The games themselves also come on Blu-ray discs, which have a much higher capacity than DVD, which means you'll start to see much larger games in the future. The system comes with a single controller. It looks a lot like the PS2 controller, but it's actually a wireless controller. The system has Bluetooth, and you can wirelessly link up to 7 controllers to the system. If you run out of juice, you can charge it up via USB to a port on the front of the unit, and it'll recharge as you're playing. One small drawback is the battery isn't removable, which means you can't recharge the battery separately outside the controller. And if the battery should die, you would have to replace the whole controller. On the front, you'll also find slots for a variety of memory cards, as well as the 4 USB ports on the front. Now, Sony says the PlayStation 3 is HD out of the box, which is true because it does have an HDMI output on the back. However, the system does not come with an HDMI cable, and the AV cable that it does come with is only an analog composite connection with audio outs. Sony does offer a component video version of this, which gives you another option for HD. Rounding out the back panel, there's also an optical digital audio output for surround sound and an Ethernet port, but at the same time, there is built-in Wi-Fi, which most people will want to use. And finally, the PS3 comes with either a 20 gigabyte or a 60 gigabyte hard drive, but if you do want to go larger, it is user replaceable. It is a laptop drive, so to go to something like a 200 gigabyte drive would cost you a lot of money. The first thing you see when you boot up the system, much like a computer, is a login screen. If you own a PSP, you'll immediately notice that the interface, the cross-media interface as Sony calls it, is very similar to the PSP's. Along the top of the bar, you'll find the icons that represent the various features that the PS3 has to offer. Like the Xbox 360, Sony is really trying to make the PS3 a digital media hub and has a lot of media functionality. With the photo feature, you can either take your memory card right out of your camera and play a slideshow from that card, or a thumb drive, or you can copy the images to the hard drive and play your slideshow from there. Similar to photos, you can import your music from a memory card or thumb drive. Under the video icon is where you'll find your Blu-ray movies, as well as any videos you might import from your camcorder or download on your own. Under the game icon is where you'll find your PS3 games, as well as any other games you might have downloaded. Up next is the network icon. Here you can actually launch a browser and surf over to any website you normally would. The interface is a little bit clunky, but you can attach a USB keyboard and mouse, and even a Bluetooth keyboard and mouse. You'll also find the PlayStation Store here, which is similar to the Xbox Live Marketplace. Currently, you can download demos of games, as well as smaller online exclusive titles, but in the future we expect to see retro games, Sony's PS1 titles, music, and even movies that'll be available in the Sony Store. And the last thing on the menu is the Friends icon. This is where you will be able to meet both friends and other players online and chat. Right now there's only text chatting, but in the future there'll be voice and video chatting as well. We've talked about all the things that the PlayStation 3 can do, but at the end of the day, what people are really interested in buying the system for is the gameplay. It's always hard to review a new system right out of the gate because it really takes developers a year or even 2 years to make games that are truly impressive for the system. So the launch titles for the PS3 aren't all that impressive. The graphics really are about on par with the Xbox 360 at this point, so there isn't really a game out there that truly distinguishes itself. We've downloaded a demo of MotorStorm, and this does look like it's going to be one of the more graphically impressive early titles for the system. The graphics are sharp, there's a level of detail here that we haven't seen on some of the early titles, and the gameplay seems really fun. It does also make use of the 6-axis controller. You can steer your car or motorcycle by simply turning the controller rather than pressing any of the buttons. You're going to see an option for this type of control in a lot of PS3 games going forward. However, the controller isn't quite as dynamic as the controller for the Wii in that regard. Now, some people are going to be interested in buying this as a Blu-ray player because it is currently the least expensive Blu-ray player on the market. And what we can say from our tests is that the PS3 does a comparable job to other standalone Blu-ray players on the market that currently cost twice as much. All in all, the PS3 is a sleek, powerful system with an impressive set of features. A lot of folks have been wondering whether it really is worth its high price tag. And from a pure gaming perspective, right now the Xbox 360 is a better deal. But if you look at the build quality and the feature set and the potential of future games, the PS3 really starts to look like a better deal. I'm David Carnoy, and that's the Sony PlayStation 3.